Please state your name.
John Coogie Mahar,
Where do you live?
33 River Road, Hoosick Falls, New York.
Okay, did you live in Hoosick Falls all your life? Or?
Yes, I have.
Okay, now would you tell us a little about you before you went into the service?
Before I went into service, I graduated from St. Mary's Academy. Then I went to work, while I was still in high school, I went to work at the old Oneida Marcus. It was long since been out of business down on Church Street in Hoosick Falls.
Other people have
I worked
mentioned
as a stock clerk and a cashier down there. And from there, I went into the service.
I see. Were you drafted or enlisted?
I was drafted. Yeah.
All right, and what happened?
1951, I believe.
1951, all right. The
March.
war broke out in June of 50, if I
Yeah.
remember right,
Yeah,
June 25th.
Then I took my basic training at Fort Devens, Massachusetts. I was there for 18 weeks of basic training. From there, I got shipped to Pine Camp, Camp Drum in New York. I was there for 3 months, and from there I was shipped overseas over to Korea.
I see. What were you in? The Army?
I was in the infantry,
Army infantry. I see.
24th Division.
24th Division.
The 19th Regiment of the 24th Division in Korea.
All right. When you got to Korea, where'd they put you?
I was right up front. I was a linesman.
I
was
see.
in the mortar section.
And I've read about, I've gone through it carefully, the Korean battles, when they moved up fast north.
Well, I was in quite a few battles. First day that I was there, I recall they jumped off on an attack, the outfit that I was shipped to, and we had 26 men were injured out of the company I was with on the very first day.
How many men in the company? I always wonder about.
I forget.
Oh no, I've been reading people. I
Well, in
can't.
the squad there's 9.
9 in the
And
squad.
I think there's 4 squads to
Well, it's not important. All right. So then you were.
And I was there for 4 months, and I got rotated from there. That they put down anybody that had 20 points would be rotated. We were being replaced by I remember the 40th Division, the California National Guard, replaced us in Korea. And I got shipped to Japan.
All right, but you spent 4 months in Korea.
4 months right
and,
up front.
How far up did you go? Above the 38th parallel? Or?
I was in 3 or 4 battles. I can't recall where they were.
Okay.
But I was right up there, and I was lucky. And
You
I
were,
remember, and I think I was telling you one day, I had a fella in the foxhole with me. I'll never forget him. His name was Jetters. He was a colored fellow, and he wasn't fit for combat. He really wasn't. So I called the first sergeant that night, and I said, "You got to get this guy out of here, or he'll drive me crazy too." Eventually, he transferred him to somebody else, and he got as my judge. He got up one day, and he thought he heard Chinese coming. He pulled a pin in the grenade, he dropped in the hole, and blew this other guy's leg off. He died on the way to the energy station. That could have been me.
yeah. All right, so you did your 4 months in battle, and then you came back.
To Japan.
All right.
4 months in Japan, and so.
How long
did
did you spend?
Japan, I was 5 months in Japan, and we got to Japan, and they needed volunteers. This was a strange situation. They needed volunteers for cooks, and they wouldn't take anybody that hadn't had combat. I already had combat, so they asked for volunteers. I didn't volunteer. They picked me out. They said, "You're going to cook and baker school." They sent me to cook and baker school, so I cooked for the last 3 months in Japan.
I see. So
because they knew I was, 4 months I was going to get discharged. And,
yeah, right.
And they didn't want to put any new guy that hadn't seen no combat where they would take somebody away from the area. So.
I see. So then you went to cook school. Then you were cooking in the.
Yeah, I went to Regiment in southern Japan. They sent me to cook and baker school down there. And then I come back and I cooked in Japan until I got discharged.
All right. Where'd you get discharged from?
I got discharged at Camp Kilmer, New Jersey.
I see. All right.
When I used to go, when I first went in the service, me and Andrew Pitt, another fellow from Hoosick Falls, used to ride the train together. He was wounded. He was with the first cab, and he was in the hospital. I think it was in Waltham.
Yeah.
But I'm not
He
sure.
was, because
Waltham General
you're right,
Hospital,
because
and we used to ride the train together and go back every Sunday night.
I see.
Of course, at that time I didn't drive. Didn't even have a driver's license.
I see. All right, so you came home.
I came home
got
and I went to
discharged.
work for a fellow, Walt Warren, right where the Eagles is now on First Street. He had a market, and I was a meat cutter there. I worked there for him for 3 or 4 years, and I worked for the grain union as a meat cutter. Then I went with Ray O'Bubbage. You probably remember him.
Yes.
He had a market on the Eleanor Market. I worked for him after Walt died, and I left there. And I went over to Ray's, and I worked with there, probably 8, 10 years. And when he died, I went to work for the village. I retired from the village. I had 25 years with the village.
Yeah, right. Did you get into politics or something?
Yes, I was. I was a town justice for 12 years.
I see. I know.
My wife was a councilwoman for 12 years in the town of Hoosick, too.
I see.
Yeah.
All right, and you're retired now?
Yes, I am. I'm retired.
I see.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to say about Hoosick Falls or the service? I mean, we made a quick one here. It's really quick. We got your story.
I'm really proud of what you're doing for the veterans, because nobody has never really done nothing for the Korean veterans that I know of.
Yeah.
That I know of. There's never been nothing done.
Do you know, I'm trying to get a list of guys, and they never made lists for Korea or Vietnam. They made lists for World War II.
They certainly fired bullets at you.
Yeah. But what I'd like to know is, who else do you know that went to the Korea? Or
Donnie
was in
Singler, Jimmy O'Neill,
They're gone. Jimmy O'Neill's gone. Don.
Alan Godfrey, he's deceased now too. He just died of natural causes. I don't know what happened to him. And like I said, Paul Cottrell, but he shipped out. He went to Germany. And Eddie Milady, he went to Germany.
Eddie Milady went?
He went to Germany.
Yeah, but that's all right. But he was in the Korean. He was in the service during the Korea.
Yes.
Well, I have to call him and ask him if he'll come.
Yeah, because he trained, I believe, at Camp Polk down in, or no, Louisiana, Indian Town Gap, wasn't it? In Pennsylvania. That's where he trained.
In Pennsylvania.
He got shipped to Germany. Yes.
Well, okay. So I thank you. If you got anything to say about Hoosick Falls or anything?
Well, I think it's a great little town. It's a great town. I think it is. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
It's nothing like the city. I wouldn't want to live in the city.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for doing it. Wait, don't let me get the thing off.